The year is this year. It's 2022, and the NBA season has just begun. The NBA champions, Golden State, who beat the Celtics last year, accept their rings in front of Los Angeles and look to take a win in Golden State on prime time in the season opener of 2022. And honestly, this game wasn't even close from the jump. The Lakers weren't clicking at all, and the loss was very convincing against the Warriors, who looked to have no championship hangover at all. Looking at the box score of the game, the MVP almost got a triple-double in the season opener, and a great performance to start the year. Sadly, you couldn't say the same for the rest of the team that didn't really show up. The Warriors had a solid night all around, sharing the wealth and getting the win a great way to start the season for the champs. Looking at the up-and-coming draft, we have the most highly sought-after prospects since LeBron James and Victor Wembayama, followed up with a user-created players such as Izzy Ball, a comparison to LaMelo Ball, prospect from Memphis. His skills definitely make up for the hair color choice. Jameer Ware, the lob threat center that can space the floor with a mid-range shot, completely athletic, possible top 5 pick for sure. And then we have Kadon Ryan, the all-around scoring threat, but he has seen a drop-off in his draft stock from a serious knee injury. Going through the rest of his freshman year in college, he looks to rebound that once top 5 draft potential. And then we have Paul Thompson, the perfect 3-and-D wing for the modern era, to help any contending or rebuilding team try to get a championship. So in what was never really a close matchup, the 2-seeded Mavericks go against the 3-seeded Cavaliers. MVP candidate Luka hit some threes, and it was somewhat of a Dawkins duel through, Mitchell and Luka, but I think this should just be a little showcase of Luka going ham. I mean, it's a definition of Luka magic. And actually, in that game, Luka lost again to the Lakers. You would think they're not that good, but the Mavericks, through a little more than halfway through the season, they're 40-13. They're the number 1 seed in the West. So Luka, easily the top MVP candidate. He's averaging 40 points a game while averaging a triple-double. I mean, he should be unanimous. Looking at the other MVP candidates, honestly, they might have a chance, but man, it's hard to think anyone else not named Luka will win MVP. Looking at the other awards, there isn't really that many crazy shocks. There is Jokic being 4th in DPOY. I mean, I guess Jokic can really do it all because I guess he's putting up the numbers to be a defensive player of the year. Looking at some other teams, it seems like the duo of Harden and Embiid have been working pretty well. They're 27-15, and they're the 3 seed in the East. A quick little stop in the East. The Bucks are 27-16, and they're the 4 seed in the East, while the Celtics, the reigning finals losers, are 24-20 and are the 7th seed, which would be a play-in matchup against the 10th seed. On the Western side, the Grizzlies are 26-16 and are the 4 seed in the West, while the Suns are 21-23, struggling a little bit, and they're the 9th seed. There's not too much to worry about with the Suns because the play-in does exist and they can still make the playoffs. Jokic goes against Kawhi in a possible playoff matchup. The 5-seeded Nuggets versus the 3-seed Clippers go up in a primetime matchup. Jokic and Murray just take over the game and end up with the victory. We all know Paul George and Kawhi are just simply resting in the regular season. We expect more in the playoffs and hopefully a championship for the Claw. Looking at the standings in the West, surprising to some and expected to others, the Lakers are in the bottom of the play-in at the 10th seed. I mean, it's pretty realistic, sadly, and the big thing is the Lakers do not have their pick. The Pelicans actually have their first round pick this year. So the Pelicans themselves are already the number 1 seed in the West. So the Lakers are really trying to create a super team in New Orleans. And another surprising fact is that the Warriors are actually on the mid-bottom of the West with the Lakers. And Steph Curry this year only averaging 25 points, 6 assists, 5.5 rebounds. Jordan Poole has not started a single game. He's still averaging 18. Klay's still averaging 19.5, but it's pretty clear Klay is not the same since all the injuries. And on the East side, the 76ers top the conference with 38 wins. The Bucks have their usual great season, and Donovan Mitchell putting up MVP numbers, almost 30 points a game, and he's leading it to wins. Cavaliers being the 3 seed in a tough Eastern Conference. The reigning conference champions are only the 8 seed, struggling to get over their loss in June. And on the lower side, the Nets have been struggling all year, but we'll get to that in a little bit. And looking at a future mock draft for the up-and-coming draft class, Scoot Henderson is the number 1 overall pick projected. Izzy Ball looks to be drafted by the Rockets with a number 2 overall pick. Really need a wing player, and Izzy Ball fits right into that and can play make, which Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green are not real playmakers or passers. The Thunder look to try to get Victor Wembanyama and Chet Holmgren on the same team. Jameer Ware looks to go to the Jazz, which would be a good replacement for Rudy Gobert. And then for the Magic, they might be able to pair up Keldon Ryan and Paolo Banchero. Keldon Ryan came back from that knee injury and has shot up the draft boards, lighting up the college scene on Michigan State. Paul Thompson, the Clippers have a first-round pick. They're playing great right now, and they might be able to just get a great wing player, great 3-and-D to help Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. And then you also have, just a little side note, the Spurs have so many high picks, at least projected. Obviously, lottery odds are never in the favor of the San Antonio Spurs since Tim Duncan. And the Pelicans, thanks to the Lakers, most likely will get a top 10 pick this year, so that will be interesting. The Nets have been struggling this entire year, and this game versus the Hawks just show exactly why. The Nets defense has been god-awful, and the lack of a big man presence is absolutely brutal. Kyrie seems to be more focused on Twitter drama, and KD just can't carry a team by himself. And who even knows if Ben Simmons wants to play basketball anymore? So it's no surprise that they get blown out by a Hawks team that actually seems to have some type of cohesion in the locker room and try to make a run in the playoffs. Great trade to get DeJounte Murray. He just brings that extra wing defense and just presence of great player, a help for Trae Young, because last year against the Heat in the first round, Trae Young just didn't really have any guard help to help dribble the ball. On to another struggling big market team. The Lakers' struggles seem to be a little more fixable than the Nets, as Westbrook just seems to be the scapegoat, and while the so-called GOAT has been slowing down this year in comparison, averaging just 24, 9, and 6 on 45% shooting. The Lakers also don't have their pick this year, so maybe they can trade more of their future away to please the GM. As Westbrook hits a huge 3 to cut the lead to only 41 points. What an absolute clutch god. He shows up in the clutch. And speaking of clutch, Clutch City takes on San Antonio in the Battle of Texas. This game helps to see who gets the number 1 overall pick and who most likely will take Victor Wembanyama in the up-and-coming draft. Or maybe we'll see a surprise and the number 1 overall pick is Henderson or Izzy Ball. This game was just straight up ugly. Nobody needs to see more of this ugly tank bowl. Going on to the awards, Paulo Banchero averages 20 and 8 a game for a sorry Magic team. Wins Rookie of the Year, and he looks to get a duo partner in the up-and-coming draft. Who knows? Might be Kadon, might be Izzy. Doubt Victor, but who knows? And then Luka easily wins MVP. There is really no conversation for anyone else unless you're biased. The number 1 seed Young Gun Pelicans are performing way over their standards from their quick, explosive offense. The Warriors and Lakers still struggle. They do make the play-in, but from LeBron and Curry mightily struggling from their standards, there's no surprise that the dysfunctional teams are low seeds. Really, the question is, how many punches can the Warriors take before their dynasty window ends? On the Eastern side, the duo of Harden and Embiid has been on full display all season. The number 1 ranked defense in the league from the Heat and the great play of All-Star Jimmy Butler has them at the 5 seed. Giannis got injured for 5 games, and the Bucks dropped from the 2 seed to the 4 seed in the tightly contested Eastern Conference. And the Celtics have to prove themselves in the play-in after making the finals last year. The Grizzlies outperformed the Suns to advance to play the Mavericks in the first round, and LeBron loses his first game against the Warriors. Can't even make the first cut, you hate to see it. And the Suns advance to play the Pelicans first round just like in 2021. The Hawks end up winning to face Cleveland first round. The 35-win Nets get bounced out early, and the Celtics prevail to live another day, and they play Philly in the first round. The 6-seeded Clippers beat the 3-seed Nuggets in the first round. Just like I said in the regular season, Kawhi just load manages until it's playoff time, and the Heat build a wall versus Giannis to win the upset. It is time to jump on that Luka hype train because this man is outstanding. Jimmy Butler and company beat the Cavaliers to advance to the NBA Finals, and besides the Clippers, the Mavs had a pretty easy run to the finals. And is anyone really surprised the Heat won? Because I can't see the Cavs making the finals without LeBron James. And after 6 games, your NBA champions of 2023 are the Miami Heat, with your MVP of the NBA Finals being Jimmy Butler. Great run for Luka. He had help, but he just needs a little more time, and he will be an NBA champion in the future. And just for a little extra, the San Antonio Spurs were so god-awful, and they couldn't pay Pop enough money. So Greg Popovich, the best coach of all time, is out of there. He retired. So the Spurs are just in absolute shambles. They need to draft a superstar now. It's draft lottery time. Let's see what tanks did and did not work, and who will be drafting big draft bust and big draft superstars. And another big question is, where will Kadon Ryan go after his injury struggles in his freshman year at college at Michigan State, and the possibility of him getting hurt again in his NBA career. And the big change also is the Pelicans pick went from a top 5 selection at worst to the 12th overall pick because of the Lakers' late season comeback. The Pistons, with a 4.5% chance of getting the first pick, went all the way up to the 2nd spot. Good for them. And the Rockets successfully got their tank to work and got the number 1 overall pick. I'm just telling you right now, Victor Wembanyama, come on. That's all day. Him or Izzy, because we need a small forward or we need a center. If you don't know, I'm a Rockets fan, so yeah. Oh my goodness. The Rockets get Izzy Ball with the 1st overall pick. That's crazy. And Victor Wembanyama is going with Cade Cunningham to the Pistons. Scoot Henderson and De'Aaron Fox in Sacramento. I feel like you already had the position. I feel like you just replaced Tyrese Halliburton, but we'll see how good he becomes. Jameer Ware replaces Rudy Gobert in Utah. That is a big pick.
Charlotte Hornets select.
And Kadon Ryan is going to be pairing up with LaMelo Ball in Charlotte. He's going to be having the baby cheering him on the sideline. Paul Thompson to the Wizards, the 6th overall pick to pair with Bradley Beal. I don't know about that one. Keontae George, 9th overall to the Knicks. 8th overall to the Knicks. I like that. That's a big name to a big city. A big trade just happened. The Suns trade the 17th overall pick and a future first for Terry Rozier and Gordon Hayward. That's a really big trade. That's good for Kadon Ryan. I guess that's why they drafted him, and they plan to make some space by trading Terry Rozier. Houston Rockets, number 1 overall pick, Izzy Ball. He's going to be a future star. And then Victor Wembanyama pairing up with Cade Cunningham. Jameer Ware replacing Rudy Gobert. Hornets signed Colin Sexton to a 3-year, $87 million contract. He spent 1 year as the Jazz, and he said, I don't like being benched. Dang, the Hornets got a lot of point guards now. Dang, Russell Westbrook signed to a 2-year, $42 million contract to the Spurs. He said, I don't want to be on a contending team. I don't want to be in Los Angeles. I don't want to play for Greg Popovich, though. As long as he doesn't make me run sprints, I'll sign. The Timberwolves signed the sexiest man alive, Kelly Oubre Jr., to a 3-year contract. Andre Drummond and Kyle Kuzma both go to the Hornets. The Hornets are really trying to contend now. The Warriors re-signed Draymond to a 4-year, $108 million contract. Good for him. He got his bag. The Lakers signed walk boy Miles Bridges. Chris Middleton to the Wizards for $135 million. Kristaps to the Pacers for $135 million. And James Harden to $190 million 4-year contract to the Jazz. Oh my lord. The duo of James Harden and Jameer Ware is going to be crazy. The lobs that are going to be thrown in Utah, that's going to be fun to watch. And with that, that is the start of the 2023 to 2024 NBA season. And thank you for watching the first episode of this franchise, My League. I'll see y'all next time.